Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation, How to Overcome Singing Anxiety. Before we give you some tips and exercises to help you overcome singing anxiety, it is important to first understand why you have it and why we need to overcome it.
So today, before talking about any medications or just singing anxiety itself, I'd like to explain a bit of the neuroscience and anatomy behind it. So your nervous system is divided into two categories, the somatic and autonomic nervous system. The somatic section is in control of voluntary movements, while the autonomic section is in control of involuntary nervous system actions. In other words, it's automatic. So now, the automatic nervous system may be further divided into two sections, the sympathetic and parasympathetic divisions. Each division has a specific goal in the body. So to begin, the parasympathetic division is in charge of rest and digest. In other words, it will lower your heart rate, increase digestive activity, permits urination sphincters to open, etc. But the main focus of today, and to do with singing anxiety, is the sympathetic section, as this is the part that prepares you for fight or flight situations. So this means, say you are mad at someone or you're in a scary situation like there's a bear in the wild and you don't know if you should fight it or run, your sympathetic nervous system will take over. Involuntarily, your brain will cause your adrenal glands to secrete epinephrine and norepinephrine. These neurotransmitters, or just a fancy word to say nervous system communicators, will go through the bloodstream and bind to different receptors found across the body. These receptors are found on blood vessels, causing them to constrict, which increases blood pressure. They're found at the heart, which increases contractility, which is how hard the heart contracts. It will also increase heart rate. And in the lungs, it'll increase the amount of oxygen that can actually come in a breath. It will also essentially turn off the digestive system to save energy so that you can run or fight better. So in summary, your sympathetic nervous system increases blood flow to muscles for quicker reactions. It increases your heart rate, increases your breath rate, and overall makes you extremely alert. And there you have it. That's essentially the root cause of singing anxiety. All right, so you'll remember that I mentioned that these neurotransmitters will go through the blood, epinephrine and norepinephrine, also known as adrenaline and noradrenaline. They will go through the blood and they'll bind to these receptors. So there's two types. There's the alpha receptor and beta receptors. They're both fairly similar. Alpha is normally on blood vessels and causes them to contract, and will also inhibit the digestive system to secrete different digestive juices, etc. Whereas the beta receptors increase heart rate contractility, so the force of a contraction, and they dilate the respiratory airway so that more oxygen can come in a breath. So now, how do we stop the alpha receptor from binding to this neurotransmitter and causing the blood vessel to contract? Or how do we get the beta receptor to stop binding to epinephrine and causing the heart rate to go up and the heart contractility to increase as well? So the answer to that question is anxiety medications. However, there still are many other techniques that have less side effects and are natural that my peers are going to talk about later that will decrease singing anxiety. But if some type of medical intervention is needed because those other techniques don't work, then there are alpha and beta blockers. And this means that there's chemicals like phenoxybenzamines and propranolol that will bind to these receptors, except not cause any of the effects, like the elevated heart rate or the constriction of your blood vessels. These alpha and beta blockers have been proved to work extremely well for public speaking and therefore for singing. There's also other anxiety meds that may help, like buspirone and benzodiazepines. Benzodiazepines you might know as Xanax or Ilium. But I won't talk about these ones as much because they're not as important, yet they still might work and function for this use.
First, it is important to know that we all have anxiety encoded in us when we are born. It is a natural physical and a mental response under external stimulus that can cause stress. It also the fear of what the outcome may be. It is only worrying if anxiety lasts longer than 6 months, or if it's interfering with your life. In the case of singing anxiety for singers, it is interfering with their lives. This is why we want to dissect this problem and propose some solutions. So, Why do singers have singing anxiety? After reading up about the subject, I find that the reason may be quite simple. Because they care, sometimes too much. According to Barfield 2012, singers face a degree of risk every time they sing. They may be troubled by the fear of not achieving perfection. Imperfection may mean forgetting lyrics, problem reaching high notes, singing wrong or cracking voice on the stage. The vocal production that may lead to insecurity can also lead to anxiety. Sometimes, it is also common for anxiety to arise in competition. They may fear about audience's reaction, often when they view criticism as personal threats. Sometimes, it is not even the criticism that comes from the outside, but self-criticism that causes anxiety. How do you know if you are suffering from singing anxiety? You may have shaking hands, knees, and voice. You may be sweating a lot, with dry mouth, raising heartbeat, and nausea. Why is singing anxiety a problem? It is important to know that anxiety is not entirely bad. It is necessary for risk aversion. Adequate amount of anxiety allows singers to value preparation. But when the problem becomes chronic, it may change a singer's healthy singing habits. For example, it may limit a singer's body and vocal mechanism. The fear of standing out may cause a singer to adjust his or her voice to blend in. If a person is worried about the pitch, he or she may develop a panic response whenever a difficult pitch is encountered. Sometimes, singers may choose to tighten their larynx muscles to compensate and control. But no need to worry. We have compiled the following ways to overcome anxiety. Now, my group mates will elaborate on each technique.
It's important to understand the reason for your singing anxiety in order to help get rid of it. Knowing the reasons for your singing anxiety can help you find solutions that work specifically for you. If you're worried about forgetting lyrics, you might find that going over your lyrics before you sing for people helps ease your anxiety. If you're nervous about singing in front of others, perhaps starting with joining a choir where you don't have to sing solo is a good start. Everyone is different, and everyone experiences anxiety in different ways, so knowing how your anxiety affects you and where it comes from is a good first step to combating it. For those who get anxious singing in front of others, start by singing in front of a mirror or a small group of supportive friends and family. Finding a supportive group of people to listen to you can help make you feel more comfortable about singing for people. Having friendly faces in the audience to look at will make you feel supported and help you gain confidence. This also helps you get used to performing for others, and the repetition also helps you gain confidence so that you eventually get comfortable with bigger audience sizes. But if performing for a small audience feels like too much, practice singing in front of a mirror. Getting used to watching yourself sing will make you feel more comfortable about doing it in front of others. So, if you're worried about singing in front of people, start small. You don't have to start your singing career at the Met. If you feel comfortable singing to your friends in your living room, that's a great start. For those who get anxious singing in front of others, start by singing in front of a mirror or a small group of supportive friends and family. Finding a supportive group of people to listen to you can help make you feel more comfortable about singing for people. Having friendly faces in the audience to look at will make you feel supported and help you gain confidence. This also helps you get used to performing for others, and the repetition also helps you gain confidence so that you eventually get comfortable with bigger audience sizes. But if performing for a small audience feels like too much, practice singing in front of a mirror. Getting used to watching yourself sing will make you feel more comfortable about doing it in front of others. So, if you're worried about singing in front of people, start small. You don't have to start your singing career at the Met. If you feel comfortable singing to your friends in your living room, that's a great start. Find places that you're comfortable singing in. And remember, you don't have to start by singing in front of people by yourself. For some people, singing in choirs is a good start to singing for others. In a choir, you have the support of other voices, which is a nice way to ease into singing for an audience. Additionally, finding smaller venues to sing in can help you gain confidence to eventually sing for larger audience sizes. As mentioned previously, if you only feel comfortable singing for your friends and family, do that. The repetition will help you gain the confidence to start finding new places and new audiences to sing for. It's a lot easier to sing in environments where you feel safe and supported. Being prepared is extremely important for singing anxiety. They say practice makes perfect, and it's true. If you know your piece inside out and you've worked tirelessly on it, you're going to be less afraid of forgetting the lyrics or making mistakes. If you don't feel you've prepared your song enough, you might have more doubts about how the performance will go, which will make you more nervous to perform. Being prepared can help you feel confident that you will be able to perform your song just like you've been practicing. In some cases, taking medication for severe anxiety can help performance anxiety. The New York Times wrote an article on beta blockers, which states that beta blockers mute the sympathetic nervous system by blocking the action of adrenaline. The sympathetic nervous system produces fear, so taking this medication can get rid of singing fear. The article even states that the medication improves performance abilities after a study was done at Juilliard. It is important to note, however, that these drugs need to be taken under medical supervision because those with asthma or heart disease could develop shortness of breath or slowing of the heart rate. These are also only meant to be taken in small doses because doctors have noticed some side effects in people who take larger doses of it. Beta blockers are meant for more serious anxiety cases and aren't meant to be taken casually. When taken properly, though, they are effective in combating singing anxiety. Finally, one of the most important ways to combat singing anxiety is to practice positive self-talk. Be kind to yourself. If you tell yourself that you are going to fail, you aren't going to want to sing in front of people. It is important to reassure yourself and give yourself a pep talk before you sing so that you feel good about your abilities. If you tell yourself you will do a good job, then you will. Staying positive can help you feel confident and less nervous about singing.
Now we have reached the end of the PowerPoint. Here is the list of some tips from Holly Palmer on the do's and don'ts in singing. Hope you enjoy.